Drink 1 cup of this before bed to have a smaller waist. Now, if you're noticing that your midsection is not getting smaller despite going on a low-carb diet or exercising or doing whatever, okay, this video is for you. A lot of people are focusing on the food aspect to lose weight, right? They're on a diet, they start lowering calories or carbs, and then sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm going to share something with you that's very interesting. You have 7 fat-burning hormones, and they're triggered by all these different things: exercise, diet, etc. But there are 2 other hormones that are countering it. These 2 other hormones are dominant. And in the presence of these 2 other hormones, all of these fat-burning hormones will not work because these 2 hormones are way more significant and they have way more influence over these hormones. The first one is called cortisol. People think cortisol is just a stress hormone, right? Cortisol is also a fat-storing hormone, specifically at night. That's right. When you go to sleep at night, normally you go through 4 waves of sleep. It's called a circadian wave. And so you start going to sleep and you have these superficial waves and then the deep delta wave. This is where most people burn the fat, in the deeper sleep. And by the way, the lowest circadian wave of cortisol, the stress hormone, is at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. So that gives the body the opportunity to actually burn all this fat, repair, and heal. If cortisol is too high at night, regardless of how many fat-burning hormones that you're triggering, these will not work. In other words, cortisol cancels out the effect of all the good things that you're doing to help you lose weight, especially in your midsection. Today I'm going to show you a very simple thing you can do. It's a drink before bed. So that way, when you're stressed during the day, you don't have to go into sleep with high cortisol. It can go lower and you can actually tap into more fat and wake up with a much smaller stomach, since most of the fat burning occurs when you're sleeping, if you're sleeping. But just to clarify, when you're exercising, when you're dieting, you're not actually burning fat at that point. You're sending signals hormonally into the body that create this effect about 24 to 48 hours later, if you're sleeping and if you're getting the deep delta wave sleep. Real quick story. I had this gal that was eating perfectly. She was at the gym. Over the course of a year, she lifted over 3 million pounds. Okay, guess how much weight she lost over the course of a year? It's only 1 pound. Why? Because her cortisol was too high and it was preventing her from sleeping and getting the benefit of all that exercise and good work being on the right eating plan. So it's not just about your diet. It's not just about exercising more. It's about really understanding these counter hormones that are blocking your progress. And the other hormone, you probably already know this, insulin, okay? Insulin is a fat-storing hormone. In the presence of insulin, these fat-burning hormones will not work. So both of these hormones kind of work together to kind of sabotage you if they're too high. And the one thing about cortisol is cortisol, when it goes up, it actually will then mobilize sugar. It turns protein into sugar, sometimes your own muscles, like your legs or your buttocks muscle, and it turns that into sugar as fuel because it's a survival mechanism, and then that will actually increase this. So one will feed the other. And one of the challenges with having high cortisol and not lowering it before you go to sleep is if you're not sleeping well, you are going to crave the wrong foods the next day. You're going to wake up with higher levels of cortisol. So you're going to be more stressed out if you're not sleeping. Now, this next thing I want to share with you is super important. So if you checked out, just check back in right now, because so many people will tell you that you just need to have more willpower. You just need to have more discipline, right? Well, willpower and discipline don't work when you're in stress mode. I mean, you know this with your friends and family, with yourself. As soon as people go through stress, the willpower, the discipline goes out the window. So it's so important to keep this stress cortisol thing as low as possible if you're trying to reduce your midsection weight. And with that comes good sleep. Now we're going to show you the plan of what to do and what that drink is, with the goal of keeping cortisol as low as possible before you go to bed, because cortisol is the hormone that sabotages you with your sleep and also your ability to burn fat. We want you to do all the right things and not have anything countering that, okay? So let's go to the plan right now. Okay, here is the exact plan. 60 minutes before you go to bed, you want to consume a lemon balm tea. Lemon balm tea is quite amazing in doing several things. It actually has a phytonutrient called rosmarinic acid, which has the ability to increase something called GABA. GABA is something in your brain that lowers the fight or flight mechanism called the sympathetic nervous system, has effects of being anti-anxiety. And so you're going to feel a lot calmer when I drink it. It's like I can breathe. I can finally calm down, and then you can drift off into a nice sleep. If you also want to take it to the next level and compound and make this even more powerful, take 1 scoop of magnesium glycinate powder and add it to this tea. Why? Because most people are deficient in magnesium to the point where they'll wake up with muscle cramps or charley horses or have tight muscles or just can't sleep because they're low in magnesium. Magnesium calms you down. Magnesium can lower cortisol directly, increase GABA, like I already mentioned what that does, and also magnesium glycinate increases insulin sensitivity because we also might have an insulin problem going on from the cortisol or some other reason. So at the very minimum, do lemon balm tea. If you want to compound it, make it a little stronger, add a scoop of magnesium glycinate 60 minutes before you go to bed. That's going to lower cortisol and allow you to not just sleep deeper, but have a better quality of sleep and sleep longer, 7.5 to 8 hours or more to create this effect. And just as a side note, with that lady that lifted 3 million pounds at the gym and wasn't sleeping, once we fixed her sleep, she was finally able to lose weight. I actually had her cut back on her exercise because she was overtraining. You know, I had to really convince her and re-educate her. It's like not just about more exercise and just better eating. You have to look at the whole picture. Number 2, no snacking, especially at night. Not only is this going to ruin your sleep and cause you to get up and urinate through the night more, but every time you eat anything, you increase insulin. So we don't want to increase insulin. You want to do intermittent fasting. Very, very important. And no other liquids 90 minutes before bed except this 1 drink right here, because that's going to increase urination to the night. It's going to mess up your sleep. Try to front load your liquid in the first part of the day. Number 3 is a given, lower carbohydrates. Why? Because we want to decrease insulin, okay? Both of these hormones, cortisol and insulin. Number 4, daily walks in the sun. That's going to help you drain the stress out. The sun's going to give you a lot of benefit with serotonin. It's going to lower stress. It's going to give you vitamin D. It's going to increase infrared, which is going to help you sleep at night because it's going to increase melatonin. There's so many benefits of number 4 right here. I do number 4 even in the winter every single day because it's so, so important. And number 5, write down all your problems and incomplete projects on some paper or notebook before you go to bed, because the last thing you want to do is go to bed solving all these problems at night. Again, this relates to cortisol, right? As soon as you start solving problems, which most people do all day long, you don't want to bring that to bed, right? You want to turn it off. And sometimes you have to get it out of your head on a piece of paper. And if you try this and you're still thinking about problems, then you need to get that notebook out and write more until it's all out of your head so you can turn it off and then sleep through the night. Sometimes you might need to add some vitamin B1, natural B1, to help you also with this. But typically, if you're not having a lot of carbs, the need for B1 will be a lot less. All right, now that you have the plan to help you wake up in the morning with a smaller waist, I want to give you my routine on a 1-page download. It's my daily routine. I spent a long time figuring it out and refining it. Print it out. Put it on your refrigerator. Follow it. It will help you. Then after that, I want to show you some other things you can do to indirectly shut off more cortisol and stress in your life. And for that information, watch this video right here.